He hasn't spoken to me in 6 days. Not because we fought, but because I asked him to help with the dishes. Every time I try to leave, he threatens to hurt himself. Then the next day, acts like nothing happened. He checks my location every hour, reads all my texts, but when I ask where he's been, he says I'm controlling. She told me nobody else would ever want me, then bought me flowers the next morning and said she was just joking. Hi, I'm Maya. On this channel, we analyze real relationship cases, cheating suspicions, red flags, am I overreacting, questions. Today we're analyzing 4 different toxic relationship patterns: silent treatment as punishment, threats of self-harm, double standards and control, emotional abuse disguised as jokes. In each one, we'll try to answer, is this just a rough patch, or is this a cycle you need to break? Let's get started with today's analysis. He hasn't spoken to me in 6 days, not because we fought, but because I asked him to help with the dishes. We've been together for 3 years. He's always been a quiet person, but over the past year, something changed. Whenever I ask him to do something he doesn't want to do, help with chores, come to a family dinner, talk about our future, he just stops talking to me. Not yelling, not arguing, just complete silence. Last Tuesday, I asked him if he could help me with the dishes after dinner. I'd been at work all day, I was exhausted, and we'd just eaten a meal I cooked. He looked at me, didn't say a word, and walked into the bedroom. That was 6 days ago. Since then, he hasn't said a single word to me. He sleeps in the same bed, eats meals in the same house, walks past me like I'm invisible. When I try to talk to him, he puts in his headphones or leaves the room. Yesterday, I broke down crying and asked him how long he was going to do this. He just stared at me, no response, like I wasn't even there. This isn't the first time. Last month, it was 5 days because I asked him to text me when he'd be home late. Before that, it was a week because I said I wanted to spend more time together. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. I don't know what will set him off next. And the worst part, when he finally does start talking again, he acts like nothing happened. No apology, no explanation, just back to normal until the next time I do something he doesn't like. Am I overreacting, or is this what emotional abuse looks like? On the surface, this looks like a communication issue. He's quiet, he withdraws. Maybe he just needs space to process his feelings. Some people aren't good with conflict, right? But let's be clear, this isn't about needing space. This is about punishment. The real issue here is power and control. Silent treatment isn't just avoiding conversation, it's a weapon. It's designed to make the other person feel anxious, guilty, and desperate for resolution. Think about what he's doing. She asked him to help with dishes. 6 days of silence. She asked him to text when he'd be late. 5 days of silence. She said she wanted more time together. A week of silence. He's training her. Every time she expresses a need, a boundary, or a request, he punishes her with silence. And over time, she learns to stop asking. That's the point. And here's what makes it worse. He doesn't explain, he doesn't apologize, he doesn't acknowledge it happened. He just starts talking again when he's ready, like she imagined the whole thing. That's gaslighting. Let's try to be fair. Could this be innocent? Maybe he genuinely doesn't know how to communicate. Maybe he grew up in a house where conflict was handled with silence. Maybe he's dealing with something internal and doesn't know how to express it. But here's what makes this a clear red flag. 1, the pattern. This happens repeatedly, not once. 2, the trigger. It's always when she asks for something. 3, the duration. Days and weeks, not hours. 4, the lack of acknowledgement. He never addresses it or apologizes. And 5, the effect. She's now afraid to ask for normal things in a relationship. This isn't poor communication. This is emotional control. If you're in this situation, here's a boundary statement you can use. When you stop talking to me for days because I asked for something, it makes me feel punished for having needs. I understand needing space, but this pattern is affecting my mental health. If you need time to process, I need you to tell me that, but silent treatment is not acceptable anymore. This is clear, firm, and non-negotiable. Here's what I want you to understand. In a healthy relationship, you should never be afraid to ask for basic things. Help with chores, communication about plans, quality time together. These aren't unreasonable demands. They're the foundation of partnership. If your partner makes you feel like asking for something will result in punishment, that's not love, that's control. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been in a relationship where you were afraid to ask for what you needed? How did you handle it? Let me know in the comments. Every time I try to leave, he threatens to hurt himself. Then the next day acts like nothing happened. This is manipulation and emotional hostage-taking. I've tried to end this relationship 4 times in the past year. Every single time, the same thing happens. We've been together for 2 years, and it's been rocky from the start. He's jealous, controlling, and checks my phone constantly. He accuses me of cheating when I'm just at work. I know I need to leave. I know this isn't healthy. 2 weeks ago, I finally told him it was over. I was calm. I said, "This isn't working. We both deserve better. I'm done." That's when he started crying. He said, "If you leave me, I don't know what I'll do. I can't live without you." I tried to stay firm, but then he said it. "I'll hurt myself. I swear to God, if you walk out that door, I'll hurt myself." I froze. What was I supposed to do? Call his bluff? Leave and risk him actually doing it? So I stayed. The next morning, he was completely fine, laughing, making coffee, acting like the breakup conversation never happened. When I brought it up, he said, "I was just upset. You know, I'd never actually do anything." But this is the 4th time. Last time, he threatened his car. Before that, pills. Before that, he showed me a goodbye text to his mom. Every time I try to leave, he pulls me back with a threat, like he didn't just weaponize his life to keep me trapped. I don't know if he's serious or manipulating me, but I'm terrified to find out. On the surface, this looks like someone in crisis. He's devastated by the breakup. He's emotional. He's expressing suicidal thoughts. That's serious, right? You can't just ignore that. But here's the truth. This isn't a mental health crisis. This is emotional hostage-taking. The real issue is control through fear. He's not saying, "I'm struggling and I need help." He's saying, "If you leave, I'll hurt myself and it will be your fault." That's not vulnerability. That's manipulation. Look at the pattern. She tries to leave, he threatens self-harm, she stays, the next day he's fine. This has happened 4 times. Each time the threat escalates. Car crash, pills, goodbye text. Each time the next day he acts normal. If he were genuinely suicidal, the crisis wouldn't disappear the moment she agrees to stay. Real mental health struggles don't turn on and off based on whether you get what you want. This is abuse. Threatening self-harm to prevent someone from leaving is one of the most dangerous forms of emotional manipulation. It traps the other person in an impossible position: stay in a relationship that's hurting you, or leave and feel responsible for someone's death. Here's what makes this an absolute red flag: the pattern, the timing, and the next day recovery. The dismissal, "I'd never actually do anything," and the escalation of threats getting more specific. If you're in this situation, here's what you need to know. You are not responsible for another person's mental health. If someone threatens self-harm, you call emergency services, you call their family, but you do not stay in a relationship because of a threat. That is not love. That is hostage negotiation. If you're ready to leave, have a safety plan and tell trusted friends. If he threatens self-harm, call 911 or a crisis hotline immediately. Do not negotiate. Do not stay to calm him down. Leave anyway. If someone uses the threat of self-harm to keep you, you are not in a relationship. You are being held captive. Abusers know good people don't want to be responsible for someone's pain. They use that goodness against you. If you've been in this situation, how did you get out? Or if you're still in it, what's keeping you there? Let me know. This community is here to support you. He checks my location every hour, reads all my texts, but when I ask where he's been, he says I'm controlling. We've been together for 1.5 years. About 6 months ago, he asked me to share my location with him for safety. I thought it was sweet at the time. Now I realize he checks it constantly. If I'm at the grocery store for more than 30 minutes, I get a text. "You okay?" That's a long time. If I'm at a friend's house, he'll text, "Whose car is that in the driveway?" If I don't respond within 10 minutes, he calls, multiple times. He also has my phone passcode. Sometimes I'll pick up my phone and realize he's been scrolling through my messages. When I confronted him, he said, "If you have nothing to hide, why does it bother you?" Last week, I asked him if I could see his phone, just to check if he had the same openness he expects from me. He said no. I asked why, and he said, "Because I value my privacy. You're being controlling." Wait, I'm controlling? He knows my location 24/7, reads my texts, asks who I'm with, where I'm going, how long I'll be gone. But when I asked for the same transparency, suddenly I'm the problem. Last night, he came home at 11 p.m. I asked where he'd been. He said, "Out with friends." I asked which friends. He said, "Why do you need to know? I'm allowed to have a life." But when I go out with friends, he needs a full itinerary, group chat screenshots, and live location updates. I feel crazy. Am I the controlling one, or is this a double standard? On the surface, this might look like a couple with different communication styles. He wants transparency. She wants privacy. Maybe they just need to compromise, right? Wrong. This isn't about communication styles. This is about control masked as concern. The real issue here is the power imbalance. He has full access to her life, location, messages, schedule, social circle, but she has zero access to his. That's not a relationship. That's surveillance on one side and secrecy on the other. Look at what he's doing, checks her location constantly and questions grocery store timing, demands to know whose car is in a driveway, scrolls through her messages without permission, and calls repeatedly if she doesn't respond in 10 minutes. And when she asks for the same transparency, you're controlling. I value my privacy. That's called projection. He's accusing her of the exact behavior he's displaying. This is not a gray area. This is a textbook abusive control pattern. Here's what makes this absolutely unacceptable. 1. The double standard, rules for her, freedom for him. 2. The surveillance, constant location tracking and message monitoring. 3. The interrogation, questioning normal activities like grocery shopping. 4. The gaslighting, calling her controlling when she asks for equal transparency. 5. The justification, if you have nothing to hide, is a manipulation tactic. Healthy relationships are built on mutual trust, not one-sided surveillance. If you're in this situation, here's a boundary statement you can use. You check my location constantly, read my messages, and question where I am and who I'm with. But when I ask for the same openness, you call me controlling. That's not a partnership. That's a double standard. Either we both have privacy, or we both have transparency. But this one-sided surveillance ends now. Be prepared. When you set this boundary, he will likely escalate. Controlling partners don't respond well to losing control. Here's the truth. Controlling behavior disguised as love is still controlling behavior. I just want to keep you safe is not an excuse for 24/7 surveillance. I just care about you is not a reason to interrogate your every move. And when someone demands full access to your life but refuses to give you the same access, that's not about trust. That's about power. So here's my question. Have you ever been in a relationship where the rules didn't apply equally to both people? What did you do? Let me know in the comments. Now let's hear another case. She told me nobody else would ever want me, then bought me flowers the next morning and said she was just joking. My girlfriend has this pattern. She'll say something cruel, wait for me to react, then tell me I'm too sensitive and she was just joking. Last Saturday, we were getting ready to go to her friend's birthday party. I tried on a shirt I liked and she looked at me and said, "You're really wearing that? You look like you've gained weight. Nobody's going to want to stand next to you in photos." I felt like I'd been punched. I asked her why she would say that and she laughed. "Oh my God, relax. I'm kidding. You're so dramatic." I didn't go to the party. I stayed home. She went without me. And when she came back that night, she was angry. She said I embarrassed her by not showing up. The next morning, she brought me coffee and flowers. She kissed me and said, "I'm sorry. You know I love you. I was just joking around. You look great. I don't know why you take everything so seriously." A few weeks ago, she told me in front of her family that I was lucky she settled for me, because nobody else would put up with my anxiety. When I got quiet, she said, "What? It's true, but I love you anyway." Last month, she told me she only stays with me because I'm convenient, and she doesn't have the energy to start over. When I told her that hurt, she said, "God, I was joking. Why do you always make me feel like the bad guy? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Am I too sensitive, or is this what emotional abuse looks like?" On the surface, this looks like someone with a harsh sense of humor. She makes jokes. He's sensitive. Maybe they're just not compatible in communication style. But let's be absolutely clear. This is not about humor. This is verbal abuse disguised as jokes. The real issue is systematic degradation. Look at what she's doing. Nobody's going to want to stand next to you in photos. You're lucky I settled for you. Nobody else would put up with your anxiety. I only stay with you because you're convenient. These aren't jokes. These are attacks. And here's the manipulation cycle. 1, she says something cruel. 2, he reacts with hurt. 3, she dismisses his feelings. "I was joking. You're too sensitive." 4, she makes him feel guilty. "Why do you always make me feel like the bad guy?" 5, she apologizes with a gesture like flowers or coffee. 6, repeat. This is textbook emotional abuse. This is not a gray area. This is abuse, Full stop. Here's what makes this absolutely unacceptable. 1. The degradation, attacks on his appearance, worth, and mental health. 2. The isolation tactic, nobody else would want you, is designed to make him feel trapped. 3. The public humiliation in front of family. 4. The dismissal, just joking, invalidates his feelings. 5. The Darvo, deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. She makes herself the victim when he expresses hurt. Just joking is the abuser's favorite excuse. It allows them to say cruel things and blame you. If you're in this situation, a joke is something both people laugh at. If one person is hurt and the other is laughing, that's not a joke. That's cruelty. Saying, "I was just joking" after hurting someone doesn't erase the hurt. It just means you're not willing to take responsibility. That's not love. That's control. If you're ready to set a boundary, when you say things that hurt me, it makes me feel like my feelings don't matter. If you love me, you don't get to decide what hurts me. These comments need to stop, and just joking is not an acceptable response anymore. Be prepared. She will likely tell you you're ruining the relationship. Here's what I need you to hear. You are not too sensitive. You are not dramatic. You are not overreacting. They are trying to convince you that you have no options. When someone follows up cruelty with flowers, they're not making amends. They're resetting the cycle so they can hurt you again. That is control. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been told you were too sensitive for reacting to something hurtful? What happened? Let me know in the comments. Today we analyzed 4 toxic relationship patterns: silent treatment as punishment, self-harm threats to prevent leaving, and surveillance disguised as love. And finally, verbal abuse disguised as jokes. They all had one thing in common. The abuser made the victim question their own reality. But here's the truth. If you're constantly questioning whether you're the problem, you're probably not. Abusers are very good at making you doubt yourself. Which case hit closest to home for you? Let me know in the comments. And if you're in one of these situations right now, please know you deserve better. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm here every week with new cases. I'm Maya. See you in the next one.